Well, hello and welcome back for our second monthly Q&A here at Chasing Tails Dog Training. I'm Rebecca, and I genuinely appreciate all the questions that you guys have sent in over the last month. It really kind of helps me know where to look and where people are needing help, which I sincerely appreciate. So after looking over all the questions and everything, I kind of figured maybe this month our topic would be leash skills and walking, because it's getting to be that time of year that hopefully you're going to want to get out with your doggy. So let's dive in. First question, how can I start practicing leash walking in my yard to prepare for eventual walks in the neighborhood with my new puppy? Well, first off, when you get a new puppy, typically like from a breeder or, I mean, even if you get them from a shelter or something, puppies are not used to wearing collars. Breeders don't typically use them. They might use like a paper collar just to identify which puppy is which puppy, but it's really important to first get them situated in understanding that the collar is okay, and also the leash. I actually even recommend putting the leash on your dog and then attaching the leash to your hip. And the reason that I recommend this is we all know that silence is golden unless you have a puppy. By keeping a leash attached to your hip, you get to correct any mistake your dog might be making. Whether it's they decide to start chewing on a shoe, you're right there to redirect them over to something more appropriate. They have to go potty, they're not going and hiding behind the couch because they can't. They're right there and you're able to get up and get them outside immediately. This helps them in the long run, and it also really improves your bond with your puppy. Once you start moving outside, start working with basic commands. Ask them for like a sit, a down, a watch me, things like that. That's gonna make them understand that it's not just in the house that we do these things. It's going to start getting it around, and they're going to start focusing more on you and what you're asking. And then you can start kind of looking at going into the outside world, which kind of leads into my next question, which was, when should I start taking my puppy out for walks? This is one of those questions that can be a little bit more debated, especially between the training world and the veterinary world. So for those of you that don't know, I have spent the last several years working in the veterinary field and kind of doing my training on the side. Exciting news, this is my full-time gig now. But when it comes down to when should you start taking your puppy, a trainer will tell you immediately. A vet will tell you wait until all vaccines are done. So kind of looking at that coming between, when puppies get vaccines, they typically get them at 8 weeks, 12 weeks, and 16 weeks. And the 3 vaccines that they get all 3 times is going to be your distemper and parvo combination. Distemper, if you're not familiar with it, is a neurologic disease. It attacks the brain. I've only seen it once, but it was absolutely heartbreaking. Definitely don't recommend any dog getting that. And then the other one that I've actually seen a lot, especially in puppies, is parvovirus. Parvovirus is a virus that attacks the GI system. It causes severe diarrhea, bloody stools, vomiting, and essentially puppy becomes so dehydrated that their body starts shutting down. You can attempt treatment. Sometimes it's successful, sometimes it's not. Treating parvo is very, very expensive. And it's really important that they have all 3 vaccines before you start taking them anywhere that's dog populated. Outside of going out to places, like if you're gonna go, for one, I wouldn't recommend a dog park for a few months anyways. I would wait till at least 6 months, at least, if at all. But you wanna kind of stay out of high trafficked dog areas, so like PetSmart, Petco, Pet Supplies Plus, whatever your local pet store is. When you bring your puppy that has not been fully vaccinated, unfortunately there are people that go there that do not vaccinate their dogs. We want to make sure our little baby's healthy. So my recommendation, go and get one of those little sanitizing wipes that they have at the store, wipe out your cart and place puppy in the cart. It is important for socialization that they get out as much as possible, experience new things before 6 months of age. If you have friends that you know that their dogs are healthy vaccinated, it's okay to let puppy play with them. It's okay even to go around like your block as long as you are at least somewhat familiar with your neighbors or get a good sense that your neighbors are responsible pet owners. Either way, it's kind of, ultimately it's up to you. There's pros and cons on both sides. So I had the other question. I just want to take my dog on leisurely walks around my neighborhood. Why should I have to learn heel? Is it that important? Again, I'm not here even as a trainer to tell you what to do and what to not do with your dogs. However, in my opinion, heel is important. While Toby and I don't use heel often, it comes in very handy. A lot of it is for safety. If we're going, say we're going down the bike path and a bike comes up, I want to be able to have some form of letting Toby know I need you to be right next to me so that he doesn't get run over the bike. The bicyclist doesn't get hurt, like it's a whole mess, there's medical bills and everybody's upset. We don't want any of that. By asking him to heel, he knows to come and be right next to me so the bicyclist can go by without problems. This also comes in handy when there's other dogs or even other people. Maybe you're on the bike path and there's somebody that's not comfortable with dogs. Maybe they had a bad experience or they've never been around dogs. Help make the community safer and more comfortable for everybody. While I don't understand why not everybody would have a dog, some people don't, and that's on them. The heel is also one of those, when I go for a walk, I want the walk to be pleasurable. I'm not about going out and just exercising to exercise. Like, I want to go out to enjoy myself, to enjoy the company of my dog, and I don't want him to be doing this the entire time and just zigzagging all over the place. By teaching my dog that I want you to stay primarily on one side, it will help decrease any of this movement, which will also help keep them from darting out into traffic unexpectedly, or another dog or a bunny or something that you didn't notice. They're going to be more keen to stay on whatever side you train them on. I personally am a left side person, but you can train them on the right. It's really up to you if you want to do right or left side. Another one, big one that I got a lot, what is the best trick to keep my dog from pulling? So lots of dogs pull for many reasons. There's different things that you can do, there's different tools you can use, but ultimately the things that you're going to want to teach to really get your dog to understand is leave it, watch, and be patient. By asking them to leave it, when I teach leave it, it's not just leave it alone, it's move yourself away from the situation. Because I don't want to end up like that kid that's going, I'm not touching you, I'm not touching you, I'm not touching you. No. Remove yourself from the situation. So if they're excited about a bunny, you can say leave it, and they should know, I need to move away, take my attention off bunny. Watch is another important one. It's really getting your dog to look at you and focus on you. The more your dog focuses on you, the less worried he is about everything else that's going on, bunnies, birds, people, whatever it is. And it's a great way to bring especially a reactive dog back to you. So the younger we start them looking at us, the more confident they become in the long run. Heel can also help with this one too, just saying. Let's see, how do I handle distractions on walks? Again, kind of ties into the last question. Leave it, watch. Great ways to bring your dog's attention back to you. You can also, if your dog is focusing, maybe there's a group of people that are having a loud argument and your dog's like, what is happening over there? You can actually step in front of your dog, use your body to block your dog's view, and re-ask them to focus on you and ask them for that watch. If that's not working, you can always go in the opposite direction. Wait until they stop trying to look back to get to whatever it is that they're excited about. And then once they stop, I usually ask for a sit, ask them for a watch, get them focused on me again, and then turn back around and we continue our walk. And that's where I can reinforce that leave it if I need to. Things like that are great ways to handle distractions. Of course, every dog is a little bit different, so there might be different strategies that we would need to kind of look at. But those are going to be some of your big basic ones. And then the question that I was dreading, I knew it would come up, but what are the pros and cons of a standard leash versus a retractable leash? You will never hear me recommend a retractable leash, ever. I have used these in the past. I actually have one up in my training bag, but it's more for show than anything. I haven't used it in years. When you're using a retractable leash, for one, they're super clumsy. Like they're big and they're awkward. And when you're pulling your dog in, like I don't know if you've ever experienced that little that the leash might do where it's not catching right away, so your dog's still out of control until it finally catches. And then when you're trying to reel them back in, the movement is very jerky and you really have no control of your dog whatsoever. I have also seen these retractable leashes I've seen dogs and humans entangled, especially kids, where dog gets excited, go plays with the kid, and then they end up tripping each other, which can result in burns, cuts. I've seen retractable leashes snap. I overall don't think they're a good idea, and honestly, from working in the vet field, it's eye-twitching whenever somebody comes in with a retractable leash, because you have little to no control over your dog, and it really sucks when there's multiple dogs and maybe one is reactive, and now it's a whole thing in the front lobby. But I digress. I strongly recommend a standard leash. You can do the 4 or the 6 foot, kind of depending on the size of your dog, what's comfortable for you. But I do it because I have control over my dog. I have that immediate connection to where My dog can sense my energy, and then there's also that little bit reciprocating to me that I'm able to, when he makes a move, I know what he's doing. It's more secure. I think the only time that I've ever had a standard leash break was the little claspy thing was bad and it broke, and that was my fault for not checking my equipment prior to going out. So there's always take care of your equipment. Go with a standard leash. If you want to work on letting your dog out longer, I would recommend using like the 20 or 30 foot long leads that you can get off like Amazon or get a PetSmart or something like that. Again, comes with control. And then I had another question of what should I use? A collar, a harness, a head halter like a gentle leader, choke chain, prong collar, e-collar, the different types of tools that there are for walking a dog. And why or why not would you recommend these? So this is a really hard question to answer, especially in the short amount of time that I have here on this episode. So I'm actually going to create a separate episode that it'll drop in a couple weeks. And I'm really going to go into these tools, why we would use them, what they're for, how they work, and kind of focus into what I would recommend, why I would recommend it, and which ones I would say absolutely no. You might be surprised at some of the answers, but keep an eye out for it. Give me a couple weeks. We'll get that going. And we'll use my little friend Max to help. So then another couple of the questions that I received that are not necessarily in regards to leash skills and walking and manners in that regard. It was a couple that I felt were really important to address sooner rather than later. And one of them was, how do I know if I'm working with the right trainer? First off, trust your gut. You should be comfortable with your trainer. If you can't be comfortable with your trainer, you're not going to be comfortable asking questions. Your dog is going to sense that you're not comfortable, or maybe they use tactics that you're like, huh? You need to really find a trainer that's going to listen to you. It's going to meet your needs. If you don't want to work on a certain skill, or you think it's a stupid skill, like maybe you don't want to work on heel, a trainer might recommend the reasons why and ask you to reconsider. And then you have that opportunity to say, nope, still don't want to do that. And then they can move on and you can learn something else. Ultimately, it's your dog. It is your rules. And if your trainer's not listening to you, they're not doing their job. You want to make sure that you're seeing progress and results. Is your dog doing what you're wanting them to do? Are you happy with the way that they're learning what they're learning? And most importantly, your trainer should be able to answer the why of anything that they do. If you don't understand why a trainer is asking you to do something, it's kind of like heel. Like, I really want to go into the why I recommend this. I know a lot of people think it's silly, but it's one of those, I feel like it's really important for multiple reasons. It's not that you have to use it every day, but it's a good skill for your dog to have. If your trainer doesn't know why they're teaching something, that's a red flag to me. And then the other one that I got is it normal to feel defensive when a trainer corrects how I approach a situation? And again, this is one of those questions that it's hard to give a one-way answer, because a lot of this comes down to you as well. Are you defensive and frustrated because you don't like that what worked for Fido isn't working for Fluffy, and you still think that you can do what's working with Fido even though the trainer is suggesting something else? Are you feeling defensive because you are uncomfortable with the correction that's being made? For example, a trainer, one of the things that drives me absolutely cuckoo bananas is when somebody asks their dog to sit and then they push on their butt. It drives me nuts. I would want to know why they would want to do that, and if you can't explain to me why, like, that makes me uncomfortable. I don't want to use physical force with my dogs. I mean, it can be normal, it can be frustrated of, well, crap, this worked for Fido, but we have to remember that every dog is different, right? And everybody learns a little bit differently. You really need to ask yourself, like, are you open and receptive to new ideas and new techniques? Are you defensive because you don't understand the why? Are you doing the right style of training? This is a big one because there's multiple different styles. There's private sessions, there's group sessions, there's board and trains. Each of them have their pros and cons, but you have to make sure that whatever style you're working with is right for you and right for your dog. So again, it comes down to that question. Are you working with the right trainer? So I think that wraps up for the time that we have today. Do keep an eye out again, a couple weeks. I'll get that video out for the different walking tools. I really hope you guys found today's topic helpful. Please make sure that you hit the like button, share with your friends on Facebook, follow me here on Chasing Tails Dog Training. Don't hesitate to reach out with more questions. I love this. This is a great challenge for me, and it kind of gets me thinking where you guys are at versus where I'm at. So drop them in the comments below, send me a message. Those of you that have my phone number, shoot me a text. If you call me, just make sure you leave a message. And just remember, at the end of the day, be consistent, be patient. Rome wasn't built in a day, and neither was the perfect dog. Until then, happy training.